Hi there. It's time for another cooking video. It's me again, Jesse, your culinary arts teacher. Today, I'm going to show you how to make lunch. I'm going to show you some different things to make with eggs, with hard-boiled eggs, delicious egg salad, deviled eggs, and we're going to also do tuna fish salad. Okay, let's get started. I put the video camera so that you can look into the bowls and so on. Here we go. So here I have hard-boiled eggs. I've peeled one egg already. And after I've boiled the eggs, I chill them down in cold water. Now to boil eggs, there are several ways you can do that, but I prefer a method that's actually kind of steaming the eggs. What I do is I put the eggs in a pot, in a saucepan like this, and I add about a ½ inch of water. I put it on the stove with a lid, bring it to a boil, and then turn it down to a simmer, a fast simmer, so medium heat, I would say. And you're going to steam the eggs with the lid on for 12 to 13 minutes. Then you're going to chill the eggs down by pouring cold water on them, and then you're going to peel them. Now I'm going to show you about peeling. The water, I have water in this pot, can aid you in peeling the eggs. So I'm just tapping a bit, and then I'm getting under the shell with my thumb, with my left thumb in this case. Now you need to get under the membrane. There's a membrane that surrounds the egg. If you don't, it might be hard to peel. So you have to get that started. These are peeling very nicely. So there we have it. And I'm dipping in the water. Now notice I'm wearing gloves. The reason I'm wearing gloves is that this food is raw. It's not going to be cooked anymore. These are cold salads. So here we go. I'm just going to do this quickly. Get under that membrane. So I kind of drag the flat part of my thumb to get under that membrane and just pull it off. Dip it in the water. Whoops. Make sure it's clean of shells. Dip your hands in the water to get shells off your fingers as well. So here we have actually 7 eggs that I did, which was all that I had in the kitchen today. Using them up. Dipping that in to clean it off. Dipping my hands in so I don't get shells into whatever else I do. Tap, tap. Under that membrane, see there's the membrane right there. I don't know if you can see that. You see that? You got to get under that. Okay. Let's get this show on the road, folks. All right, so there we have it. The first thing we're going to do, so I'm going to get rid of this, is we're going to make deviled eggs. So I need a bowl, and I'm going to take my cloth and just, whoops, I'm just going to make sure that any shells, and I'm going to cut the eggs in half with a paring knife. So can you see that? I'm just cutting them in half this way. And they look beautiful. If you overcook the eggs, sometimes there will be, the sulfur in the eggs will form a green ring. But if you don't overcook the eggs, that will not happen. So I am going to make 3 deviled eggs. Here I have one already that I did previously. And I'm going to put the yolk in the bowl. And a little spoon is good for this. if you have a rough time. So I'm just going to pull that out. That one came right out. Okay. My phone's ringing, but I'm going to ignore it. Okay, so here we go. Now this might be too big a bowl, actually. So if you were in a restaurant and you were doing a lot of these, now you can mash this with a fork. I'm just going to get something. You can mash these with a fork, but in a restaurant, I just want to show you this. The professional way to do this is actually to force the eggs through a sieve. And I'll do that because it makes it very smooth and easy to make into the nice inside of the deviled egg. So I'm just pushing it right through the sieve. You see that? I'm using a spoon. Went right through. And then, of course, I want to make sure I get what's adhering to the outside of the sieve or the strainer off. So that's going to be perfectly smooth. Now that's a trick. If you often when you make deviled eggs, you're making it for a party. So you might be making quite a lot of them. Okay. So now I'm going to put my egg white halves on a plate just to get them out of the way here. And I'm going to add mayonnaise. Now I'm going to start with about a tablespoon and a half of mayonnaise. And I'm measuring it kind of loosely. So okay. And half. Okay, so let's see how that looks. And then I'm going to put in a little bit of mustard. I'm going to say, let's start with a half for 3 eggs. This is for 3 eggs. I'm going to start with about a half a teaspoon of, and this is Dijon mustard, but you don't need to use Dijon mustard. I'm going to do Dijon mustard. About a half teaspoon, okay? Add that in. Now you need salt. I'm going to start with, now salt, that's subjective. Some people like things saltier, but I'm going to start with a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, okay? And I'm going to put some pepper in. You can put, now white pepper is stronger. I'm just going to shake this in a little bit. White pepper is stronger than black pepper. You could also put in, I like fresh ground, so I'm just going to put a little bit of that in. And we're going to see if this makes a smooth paste. So I'm just going to mix this around and see if I need a bit more mayonnaise. That looks actually pretty good. All right, let me get a rubber spatula. There we have it. Get it out of the ties. Well, that looks nice and smooth. Now you can, if you were making a lot of these, you could pipe it through a pastry bag, make it very fancy and nice. So that looks good. And you can just simply spoon it in to the halves. Okay. So just spoon it in. And that's perfectly acceptable, like that. You see how easy it is? Okay, so I'm not going to do all of them because for the benefit of time, but you see what it is. And then last but not least, you always want a little paprika on the top to make them look pretty. And you could even put a little dill on top if you wanted. Isn't that nice? Okay, so there's your deviled eggs. Most kids, I find, really like deviled eggs. Now, don't forget, you want to adjust your seasoning. So taste your mixture and adjust the salt. Start out conservative with the salt, and you can always add more, but you can't add less. Now, you want to cover this. If you're going to store these, you want to cover this. It'll dry out in the refrigerator. The refrigerator is a very dry environment. So best is like a container with a lid, like a plastic container like these, right? You could cover the plate with plastic wrap and refrigerate them. And they will keep for a couple of days just fine like that. Okay. We're going to separate these videos. The next video we're going to do is egg salad. So I'm going to turn this off and it'll be a separate video. Tune in next time for egg salad.